When your internet is playing up with connectivity or lag issues, you unplug the router, you wait 30 seconds, and then you plug it back in. Google had some connectivity and lag issues with their adoption to their Google Stadia service, so they're finding the router for the Google Stadia, they're unplugging it, and they're not plugging it back in. Tech giants like Amazon and Google try to force their way into a well-established market by doing only one of the two most important things that you need to do when you're trying to establish yourself in the gaming market. They throw money at the issue and expect money to come back in return. They don't realize that the most important part of success in the gaming industry is making good games. Microsoft, when they launched the original Xbox in 2001, had the really difficult task of trying to gain the trust of gamers everywhere, but somehow they managed to do it. They knew their audience, they made great games, and they did something very familiar, but also something a little bit different. Microsoft with the Xbox is a good example of how to succeed in the gaming industry. I'm going to use the comparison of Microsoft and Google a couple times in this video. But before that, what's Google Stadia? Stadia was a cloud-based gaming service. So what you would do is instead of buying a PC or a console, you pay a small subscription fee, you get a controller, and you connect it to your TV or monitor and you stream games. It's like Netflix for gaming. All the hardware is in a server somewhere, it's doing all the hard work, and then it's sending a video signal of the game back to your TV or monitor. Cloud-based gaming in a perfect world actually sounds pretty good. You don't have to buy an expensive console, you don't have to buy an expensive PC, there's no downloading, there's no updating, you don't have to worry about storage, you don't have to worry about making room for your console or your PC. You just pick up the controller, you log in, and you're ready to go. It sounds pretty good. Keyword, sounds. What differentiated it was also its downfall. Not everyone has great internet. We weren't even offered Stadia in Australia. Stadia was a niche concept that Google thought was for everyone. That's niche for all the Americans out there. People also like having consoles. They like having PCs. There's a whole culture of console wars. There's a whole culture of loyalty behind the consoles that you get. There's a culture of PC enthusiasts who buy and build their own PCs to be able to run games at max settings. For example, I've got a PC. Why would I use Stadia? My friends have PlayStation consoles. Why would I get Stadia? Stadia offered a cool idea, but you're streaming a video of a video game. It's never going to look as good as playing it natively with your own hardware. If you have lag spikes, it's going to lag not only the game, but it's going to lag the video coming to you. You're going to lose quality with the video. It's just a bit of a headache right now. You're also sending a signal to the server with the server playing the game, and then they're sending a video signal back to you. That comes with its own problems, which Google made some pretty horseshit claims about. They said that they had this negative latency software that would guess what the gamer is going to do and then send that signal back so it didn't feel like there was lag in the game. Obviously stupid. Now, in reality, they did a pretty good job of latency considering. It looked like it was probably about 2 to 4 times slower than what it would be when you were running from your PC or your console. Latency aside, that wasn't Google's only problem. Microsoft, with their Xbox launch, offered 3 exclusive great games at the time. Halo, massive game, doesn't really need to have anything said about it. They also had Dead or Alive 3 and they had Project Gotham Racing. They had a shooter, they had a fighting game, and they had a racing game. That's kind of covering most of what gamers want. Google Stadia, on the other hand, had... do you know any exclusive Stadia games? Yeah, I didn't think so. So Microsoft also did a really good job of targeting young gamers. They had the ugly gamer aesthetic. They had the big X, and obviously X means everything's bigger and better. The hardware that they had was even better than the competition as well. And they offered an inbuilt online gaming service that popped off as well. They looked to the future of gaming and they implemented it into the console. They targeted the right audience. They offered something familiar, but also new. It didn't feel scary to jump into. It didn't feel scary to invest in. It was recognizable, accessible, and fun. Google Stadia was like targeted to mid-40s males or something. It was targeted to people who had a good internet, didn't have a lot of time on their hands, didn't want to collect games, they didn't want to play competitive games, they just want to sit down and play a single player game for a little bit of time, and that's it. Considering how big gaming is, that is a pretty small market. Look, maybe where Google went wrong was that they just launched at a really bad time. COVID happened, so people couldn't go out and buy games. People had more time on their hands at home. There was a massive graphics card shortage and console shortage at the time, and wait, that kind of sounds like the perfect time to implement an online cloud-based gaming service. The other problem is that Google has a reputation of killing off their own projects. No one had faith that Google were going to continue support for this service, so when it was cancelled, people weren't surprised. Maybe that was the main downfall. No one trusted Google to keep this service alive, so no one decided to invest in it. No one trusted Google to keep this thing alive, and as we can tell, their lack of trust was absolutely warranted. Thanks for watching. I'm going to continue to make short form content like this, as well as my normal long form content as well. So subscribe to keep up with that. And I'll see you next time.